there, everybody. It's Matt here from the Literary Gamers, joined by Jen, the board game librarian. And we are here for our next installment for Rate the Collection. Today we're taking a look at D, and we have 25 games for you.
It's a lot less than last time, folks.
Oh boy, yes.
So if you made it through all the C's, you're a champion. Huh? C is for champion.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay, so...
dorky, apparently.
So what we're going to do is, like last time, we're going to run down kind of a list up to 15. And then when we hit 15, we'll talk about our opinions.
So number 25 is Dead Man's Doubloons at a 7.25. And that's by Thunder Griff Games. Number 24 is Dr. Eureka at a 7.475. Blue Orange Games. Number 23, Deep Sea Adventure, 7.58, and that is Oink Games.
You keep doing what you're doing. I gotta deal with a bad cat.
Oh, okay. A regular occurrence in our house. Number 22 is Disciple Detective, 7.6, and that is Funhill Games, I believe. Number 21, Dice Hospital, 7.625. Alley Cat Games. He's back. All right, no more bad cat.
Sorry about that, folks.
No more bad cat.
For now.
Was he chewing something? Okay. That also happens a lot. Number 20, Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks, 7.725. Gale Force 9. Number 19, Dice Masters, 7.75. WizKids.
Yes. And this includes all the Dice Masters. At least we have really stuck with the DC ones, but the system is the system, so all of Dice Masters.
Number 18 is Deadline, 7.75.
Also WizKids.
Also WizKids. Number 17, DDay Dice Pocket, 7.75. And I don't remember the publisher on this one. And finally, number 16, and it is number 16, and it has a 7.75, and that is DC Deck Builder. That's all of the DC Deck Builders, and yes, we like the DC Deck Builder, so.
Do you want to talk about the DC Deck Builder a little bit, or no?
Yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said.
Okay, all right.
So there. Ha!
All right, so... Alright, so number 15 is also WizKids. It's Dice Stars. This is Bruno Cathala, and I think there might be another designer attached to this. I just can't remember. I'm very sorry. This is also Matago. This was around before the roll and write craze. And this was the first roll and write I had kind of gotten when I heard about Gone Sean Clever, but it wasn't in the United States yet. And we were looking for a good roll and write. And this one really is unique. You know, your typical Bruno, you draft as many as you want from 1 to 3, I believe. Roll them, and then you choose, do you want to take dice, or do you want to take, not dice, do you want to take stars, or do you want to take numbers? And then you fill in a sheet, and you're just looking to get the highest score. Really unique. If you get a chance to find it, definitely play it. It often gets overlooked by a lot of the other roll and writes happening right now.
Number 14 is Dragon Castle, published by Command Games at a 7.85. So I think you described this one pretty good, Matt. And you've taught it a couple of times. So why do you like Dragon Castle? We don't like setting it up, correct?
That's true. I don't like setting it up. It takes a bit. I say oof to the teach because I thought this would have been a great game for. We used to have brewery nights here in Connecticut, and the brewery that we had gone to that night was a little extra loud, and there were 2 other events happening. So I'm shouting instructions for Mahjong at the other players, and I feel terrible because I'm shouting at them when I wanted it to be a nice, easy teach. But you're basically doing Mahjong, and then you have your own little player sheet where you're building them up, and you're getting points based on how tall you can make them, putting roofs on them, things like that.
It's very colorful.
Yeah, and it's, even if you don't like the game Dragon Castle, if you're looking for a nice mahjong set, yeah. Simon did a really nice job with the tiles.
Yeah, the tiles are nice and chunky. There's complaints about when you have to turn the tiles over, and some people's fingers. Well,
my giant fingers do have trouble with that, but. Number 13 is, in my opinion, one of the most overlooked pirate games out there, which is Dead Men Tell No Tales. This is a game by Kane Klenko, published by Minion Games. Excuse me. And it's a cooperative game where your captain has sent you on a ship that's on fire to get all the treasure, and you're fighting off the skeletons and all that, and then there was a kraken added in the expansion. Wonderful artwork, wonderful gameplay, and what would you like to add about it?
So if the game wasn't difficult enough, I think we've won
once.
Yep. We went out and purchased the Kraken expansion, which made it harder.
Yeah.
Harder to win. So, yeah, I agree. Really great game. Asymmetrical players. Number 12 is Dice Forge at a 7.875, and that is published by Leadelude. I think Dice Forge is a lot of fun. We had not played any games prior to this, well, the only game that had the interchangeable dice faces.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think we just like that. We're dice chuckers in this house, and I love having kind of that engine going too, with your elements and the gold and being able to purchase things and purchase points. Beautiful artwork, of course.
It's almost like a deck builder for dice.
Hadn't thought about it that way.
Turns are really fast, and you're always doing something on someone else's turn too, which that is what elevated it for me. So
I agree. Here you're rolling your dice while you are the main player, and you are gathering resources too. So there's very little downtime. A 2-player game can be very, very quick.
20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, 20 minutes. When this was taught at the library, it was very popular. The copy that we have at the library, I think, has been checked out quite frequently. And I think it's Gateway-esque, but definitely families could play it together.
Yeah. So, as you've already figured out, our D list has a lot of games that either start with dice or have dice in the names. And that's to be expected, I think.
I suppose, yes.
Number 11 is a really fun, and I think it's my favorite Western game.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's Dice Town. This is another Bruno Cathala, Ludovic Maublanc, Matago. You're really playing, in some variation, poker dice. And you're trying to get the most of your the dice that you choose when you're drafting onto certain locations, and they'll give you different things, and whoever has the most points wins. And it has the most interesting paper money, I think. I'm not considering Tesla versus Edison to have paper money. That's cardstock money. But this has the most interesting feeling paper money I think I've felt in a game for a while.
It's got like a plastic feel to it.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it'll ever rip on you.
No. Dice Town also has part of the shtick, I think, is that you are rolling the dice in the little bullet top, and then you are secretly choosing behind the topper there however many dice you want. And you and I have played this
a lot,
and had a lot of fun with it over the years. Way older than we thought when I edited the Mashbill, Dice Town, and Bullet that you did.
Oh, yeah.
This is from 2009.
Yeah, it's an old game.
So I think it's still a lot of fun. Number 10 is the cute and adorable Draptosaurus. by Luma Imports, or I think there's a couple of other places. Ancana also is another one of them at 7.975. These numbers just are so ridiculous all the time. I also, another one that we have played
a lot.
40 times.
Yeah.
50 times.
Well, that's because when you play it on one side, you can flip it over immediately. The game takes 5 minutes, so...
It does. I like it at 2 players because I feel like it's pretty cutthroat in terms of the drafting part of it with those adorable dinosaurs. But the premise of it is so simple. You're building a dinosaur park, either in one season or the winter, and you have a handful of dinosaurs that are all different shapes and colors, and you are drafting them and putting them in your park to get points. Such a simple concept. Everyone that we have one person that we've shown this to who did not like it.
That's true.
And did not think it was a game.
I think, didn't he call it the worst game we showed him all year?
I think so. So, that's fair, I guess.
If I could say one thing about Draptosaurus, I think it's really interesting, and it shows a great amount of teamwork with designers that a game as small and compact as that was designed by 4 people. Like, you see these big games, you know, Star Wars Rebellion is designed by Corey Konezica. That's it. And Draptosaurus, this tiny, adorable game, it's 4 people behind it.
Yeah, that seems to be a trend in the gaming industry. We have a lot of thoughts about it. None that we will say right now, necessarily. But Draptosaurus is adorable. I thought are they reprinting Draptosaurus? No, it's getting an expansion.
2 expansions.
Wow.
I think water dinosaurs and air dinosaurs. Even better.
Even better. So another 40 plays, and this might be higher. So we love Draptosaurus.
All right. Number 9 is Diamonds. This is by Mike Fitzgerald, published by Stronghold Games. This is probably one of the most interesting trick-taking games we have. The fact that you're playing tricks, and it seems like a basic deck of cards, but it goes 1 to 15 instead. And even when you have to break the suit, you get the bonus of what that suit does, and then you take majorities at the end. It's such an interesting way that the cards play. And 2 players, I think, is fantastic because you play 2 cards for each trick. So it's almost kind of like a read your partner type thing, even more so, because you're trying to think what might be there, and with 2 players, you don't even have a third of the deck out on the table. But, yeah.
So Diamonds is probably one of the most normal games that we have in our collection. And by normal, I mean something that you would teach.
Oh, yeah,
like
okay.
Your parents, for example. It doesn't have dinosaurs in it. It doesn't have a
Pirates.
Western theme. It doesn't have... It's literally a deck of cards that just go to 15.
There's no adorable foxes in this trick-taking game.
No. Those foxes are sexy, though. Sexy foxes. So I think it has a lot of really great appeal. And I love that the suits do things. And I've taught this at the library at Family Game Night a multitude of times. And it's been a huge hit. With players as young as 8 and people up into their 60s. I think because it has that appeal, that it just looks like a regular deck of cards.
Yeah.
We made the mistake one time of bringing this to one of said brewery nights, and Matt and I are vegetarians. I'm telling this story.
Okay, go ahead.
And we've been vegetarians a really long time, and we were playing Diamonds. And we were playing with a gentleman who, not only was he a card snapper, correct?
He was bending cards during play, too.
Yep.
Like a big U.
Yep. He then proceeded to order
Bacon-wrapped
meatballs and touch them with his hands.
Without using a napkin.
Without using a napkin or a utensil. And then touching our Diamonds cards.
And the diamond bits.
And the diamond bits. So that was in quarantine for a really, really, really long time, that game. We don't think it smells like bacon anymore.
It used to smell like bacon just with passing it. I keep it in the garage and it still smelled like bacon.
So, yeah. Be kind to your friends, folks, when you're playing games that are not your own. And
especially when they're people you don't know.
Yeah, we didn't know this guy from a hole in the wall. And I was like, oh god.
If you are that guy, make sure to like and subscribe.
Or thumbs down. On like. Alright, so that is diamonds. At an 8.
Yep. So number 8 is a game that I did not expect to like. And we got this game in 2014. And it's been in our collection ever since, mainly because I've also painted some of the miniatures. And this is Descent: Journeys into the Dark 2nd Edition. This is the first time I watched Rodney Smith, actually.
Was it?
Yep. And there's just something about Descent, just kind of going through, and one person being the dungeon master that was very accessible at the time, for me at least.
So this, we rated an 8, Fantasy Flight Games, and no, you're probably going to ask in the questions, are Matt and I going to plop down the $175 for Descent 3rd Edition? That is a hard pass. We had always wished that they had made a better app for Descent, like they did with Star Wars Imperial Assault, and then just going on after that.
I haven't checked it since.
No, so it has been quite some time, and I'm sure now they're not going to support it anymore.
Yeah, and I have no idea whether or not the app has improved.
Right.
But the one time I gave it a shot, it was very buggy and a little on the slow end, even with brand new tablet, phone, whatever I was using. That may have been the Samsung Note at the time, so it felt like a tablet. So, yeah, Imperial Assault's app really knocked it out of the park. I wish Descent, but maybe it is now. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when it launched, it was really buggy.
So Descent might have been our first major dungeon crawl.
I think so.
And as Matt said, he painted some of the minis. Matt was always the dungeon master, dungeon lord, and I was the heroes. We did try doing a campaign one time, didn't we?
We got more than halfway through and then just kind of fell off.
We did. I think it started to get really,
samey.
That's always our problem with campaign games, and why we literally never finish one. I think sometimes they get very samey.
They do.
And, I mean, I think Descent stays in our collection, partially because there's some painted minis, but partially for nostalgia's sake, and one day we will pull it out again and play it, but...
So number 7 is something I think we've been looking for a very long time, and I'm happy we finally came upon it. This is Dominations. This is an 8.075. This is published by Holy Grail Games.
I believe so.
Yes, Holy Grail Games. And this is a civ building game, but it's really simple. You have these Trionomos. It's one of those.
What are you trying to say over there?
The Trionomos. You remember it was the tri-cornered dominoes?
Oh, is that what they're called?
I think so.
Triangle-shaped dominoes? That works.
Yes. And you are using the colors that match with the other parts of the board that you're building to get resources in certain areas, and you're trying to build up your civilization in a tableau that you've got so much going on. And it is a little on the, I would say it's medium heavy.
Yeah.
But it's very much, it delivers on that civ building game in under 2 hours.
I agree. You're building up a tableau of cards that you can purchase along the way. You are hopefully trying to win some of the cards at the end of the round based on colors. Who has the highest in each color. I'm really bad at this one too. I've had games where I thought I've done really well. Last time we played it, I was horrific.
And a lot like another game by Holy Grail Museum, if you can get all 5 of your objectives for your civilization, I mean, hats off to you, but that's a tough thing to pull off.
Yeah, a lot of variety in this game, although we did purchase some of the expansions, yes?
I think so. We may have one or two.
Definitely a lot of variety in terms of end game scoring, the different civilizations that you can play as.
I will say, if you have expansions, just play one of them at a time. Don't combine everything, because it'll be so overwhelming that you might just want to put the game back.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. It is a big game. It's a sprawling game, too. It's going to take up a lot of space on the table. But one that I think made a splash at the end of last year and no one is talking about anymore, but it is really good. And there's luck in terms of the triangle-shaped dominoes that you pull. But beyond that, not so much, I would say. Not a super lot of luck in this game. Number 6 is Dinosaur Island by Pandasaurus Games at an 8.125. I think we love worker placement in this house. Mm-hmm. I think at 2 players, Dinosaur Island really sails along. Medium length is usually what we play, because short is too short and long is too long.
We tried it once.
Yeah, excellent bits and color. I mean, it just screams the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, yes, totally. So what do you like Dinosaur Island, Matt? I got itches. I'm like itchy today. Sorry.
I grew up at Jurassic Park, and even though a lot of people would say Dinosaur Island is more along the lines of Jurassic World because the park is actually open, Dinosaur Island gives me all the feels. I mean, yes, there's part of nostalgia for Dinosaur Island with me, but just the way the game flows, the way everything works, just, you know, trying to balance your income versus, do you want to build attractions? Attractions are very expensive, or do you want to just go whole hog in on dinos and treat it like, you know, more of a zoo instead of having the rides, the restaurants there. Really just a nice, I would say, thinky park builder. We like Barren Park because it's a nice Zen game. This one is that thinky, okay, I've got to put this here, and we've got hooligans, they're called in the game, who don't pay to get in and all that, so that's why I like it. Yeah,
definitely the part with the formulas that you were trying to make, and what dice you're going to take, and you need to be thinking ahead.
Top-notch production values.
Top-notch production values.
Speaking of not top-notch production values, I need to see what happened over there.
Yeah. It's the cats. They're going to be jerks and not show up in the video because they're apparently they're fighting too much tonight. So, we'll pause. Put a little hold music going on. I don't know, folks. He came back and went,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either. Feel spray bottles coming up in there.
So why do you like Dinosaur Island so much? Did we get to that?
I agree with all the stuff that you were saying. Yeah.
And even though we backed the expansion, we loved the base game so much we still haven't even played with the expansion.
Yeah. So that is another video in and of itself. When
games we've bought expansions for and never played.
But just even when a game, and we talked about this with Champions of Midgard last time. All right, here's a tie-in. Here we go. When you have a game, a base game, and it's perfectly fine the way it is, and the completionist in you is like, but there's expansions, and I must have all the things. And then you have all the things, and the game box explodes, and then you actually don't play the game as much because there's too many things now, and you have to sort through the things. And even though it's in the broken token over here,
Even the broken token doesn't shut completely.
No! So, that's like a really existential question there of the wanting more. Consumerism?
Yes. What happens when the board game you love goes from the basic shelf to the Kickstarter bloat shelf?
Ugh.
Dinosaur Island also has some of the best metal coins in games that have made metal coins for themselves that I've seen. Alright, so number 5 is a game that I have a lot of opinions on. We're not going to cover all of them. I used to have another YouTube channel, and I talked about this game there, and half of the review was actually talking about some of the reaction I get from people when I tell them that I enjoy, and that we enjoy, Defenders of the Realm. It's an 8.125. Now, Defenders of the Realm... Defenders of the Realm is a game that lives up to its cover art 100%. This is that great Larry Elmore 80s fantasy, what's on front of all the D&D books that came out, type of game. And this is a nice twist on Pandemic that I don't think even Pandemic did until we got to Fall of Rome, where, great, you're in the spot where all the villains are, but you gotta roll dice to get rid of them. Instead of where Pandemic, it's just you're plucking them off.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That's very interesting with Fall of Rome and Defenders of the Realm.
Yeah, Defenders of the Realm very much is a Pandemic-style game, but you have these 4 generals that are plotting towards the middle city, and if they get any one of them gets to that middle city, you're done. I think I won this game once when I was playing it solo, but I played 4 different characters. But this is also a game that, because we liked it, we had been shamed about it before. And that's when I think I started to be like, okay, no more, of dealing with that type of attitude anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't even remember quite what we were shamed about.
That we liked it.
Oh, yeah, if you don't like Defenders of the Realm, fine. We do. So, again. Ha! Defenders of the Realm is really hard. It's either that or when you and I are playing cooperative games. We don't win a lot of cooperative games together.
No. I will also say that if you get the Dragons expansion, that makes the game even harder. Because there's only 1 dragon in the base game. If you get the Dragons expansion, instead of 4 generals, it's 4 dragons.
Yes.
And you can get the 5th dragon. We don't have the 5th dragon, which is the dragon that works on your side.
Oh, well, it has to be good dragons. Is the artwork kitschy?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But each character has its own abilities. You can also go on, like, little mini side quests sometimes. And do other things. So number 4 is Dinosaur Island, Pandasaurus Games, 8.15. I can't remember why I like this one, Matt. Why do you like it?
It's a little faster than Dinosaur Island. It's a bit of a table hog.
Yeah, still a table hog.
And it kind of... So I like Dinosaur Island, but one of the things that... And Suburbia does this too. Not only do you have to pay for the tile, you have to pay for where you bought the tile. And sometimes, in Dinosaur Island especially, if you got raided by hooligans, you just have no money to do anything. And all you do in the planning phase of Dinosaur Island is pick up money. And that's fine. That's part of how the game works. In Dinosaur Island, you just basically pay for I believe it's a tile. It's been a while since we played. And you just kind of put it in the tableau. Yeah, I felt like it was more manageable to do things. Yes. In Dinosaur Island, and I can actually get things done. Or sometimes in Dinosaur Island, I don't necessarily feel that way. Basically the same game as Dinosaur Island, but exclusively for 2 players. We've already talked about art, we've already talked about components, so... it keeps that same artwork style. Yeah. Someday, will we decide, we have all the things for Dinosaur Island, including the broken token, and we don't want Dinosaur Island anymore? Yeah, maybe. But as of right now, it's higher. Yep, as of right now, it is higher. Number 3. This is a game that I had heard about through the means of Shut Up and Sit Down ages ago when they were on, I believe it was Penny Arcade TV, wasn't it?
Probably.
If you want to look it up, they did it was 6 reviews in 12 minutes. And one of the games they talked about, I had been looking for ages, and I had heard it was out of print. But it recently had its 2nd edition, and that's DDay Dice. DDay Dice isn't just a war game, it's a resource management game. It has so many scenarios, we have so many maps for it now.
We're a little obsessed with it.
They keep coming out with expansions.
But manageable expansions that all fit in the box.
Yes, they do. They all fit in the box.
And I don't feel overwhelmed with this.
No. So, why don't you talk a little bit about DDay Dice?
You kept talking about it. I was like, what is this stinking game that you keep talking about? And we was nowhere. And then we ended up down Labor Day weekend at a game store down along the shore. And Matt came around the corner and he was holding it like, ah!
I just couldn't believe it finally came back.
And we've won this one. Hey!
Yeah.
A cooperative game we've won. Hey! We like playing out the different countries. I try not to purchase the same specialists each time to have some variety in gameplay. We have noticed that when you are playing DDay Dice, at least on the first scenario, and Alter Quest too, so maybe this is our problem. We split off and do different things instead of going together like we should. So in DDay Dice, from when you're moving from the water to the beach, we try to work together and then move together and move together. Hey, that's it. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
So there is an expansion for DDay Dice that introduces a mini game called The Way to Hell, which is the sailing of the boats up to the beach, and you could hit mines, you could be shelled, and everything good that you've done in DDay Dice so far, the way you roll the dice and think, I get a bonus for this, that's not so much in Way to Hell. You get penalized heavily for what happens, and you could even lose on the way up before you even get to the beach. And so just that variety they've been giving us, it's fantastic. I played this at 4 at my FLGS, and with 4, what's tricky is the object of the game is to get to the bunker at the end of the map. Both of you have to get to the bunker at the end of the map. So then with 4, all 4 of you have to get to the bunker at the end of the map. And there are some maps where there's 2 bunkers. So, yeah, it's crazy. And it's one of those games that when you look at it, you don't think it looks like it's much of a brain burner, but it really kind of is.
Yeah, definitely resource management. I would say there's the dice chucking aspect, but it's got that Yahtzee style mechanic of choosing dice. So, yeah, probably our newest edition, well, DDay Dice Pocket.
Yes.
We purchased after that, but definitely our most recent addition to the collection.
And probably my favorite new to me of the year game.
Yeah, yeah. Number 2 is the Dresden Files Evil Hat Games 8.325. We love Dresden Files, and I've talked about this before on Board Game Breakfast, where this is one of those rare instances where I've played the game first and then read the book. And I loved it. I loved the book.
It's read by Spike.
And it's read by Spike from Buffy. You love it just as much as I do, I think, and you've read more of the books. Yeah, just a fantastic game where there's resource management going on here too.
Yep.
Hand management.
Definitely, because you're not allowed to draw cards unless the game tells you to.
Oh god, that's the most punching part of the game.
Sometimes you can set the game up and everything, put your hand and say, okay, I don't think there's any way we can win.
Yeah.
But still a very well done game. I think it captures its theme, because more than half the time you're like, I don't think we're going to do it. Which is very much
Harry Dresden.
Harry Dresden.
Flying by the seat of his pants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that you are half and half, solving cases and beating up monsters. That's pretty accurate to the books. Consistent art style, I think, through the... I like the orange and purple dice. And we recently finished off everything that... So expansions, folks. But this is different to me. I don't know what it is. Because they're like chapter packs.
Yeah, so the expansions are... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The game comes with the first 5 books in the series. It also comes with side missions, so you don't have to do... And you can kind of combine some stuff. So the expansions are the next 2 books in the series, and there's 4 of them. So and I would expect more because I think 1 or 2 new Dresden books just came out.
Yeah, 2 this year. So,
okay.
Yeah, as long as Jim Butcher keeps cranking out Dresden Files material, which apparently he hates.
No,
he doesn't
I wouldn't
hate
say
it?
he hates it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep playing this game. Have we won this one?
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Hey! Okay, maybe we can play cooperatively.
Speaking of not playing cooperatively, number 1 is probably our most played head-to-head combat game. Number 1 is Dice Throne at an 8.375. Dice Throne is pretty fantastic. There are 14 characters that we have right now. More are coming. But just it's so asymmetric, and the game, with their abilities, the game is Yahtzee style, and, we play this one a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more I can say about it. It's a great dice checking game.
Yeah, great dice checking game. We go through each battle chest and we try to each play all of the characters, and then we switch. And I think there are ones that we feel like don't win as much, and then we try to play those a little more to see if they can win, and sometimes that's a yes, sometimes that's a no. We were one of the early fans of Dice Throne before it kind of exploded.
Yeah, we have the old season 1.
Yep, old season 1.
Looks like this. Now you're seeing them
in the battle chests.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dice Throne is, I don't care what the box says, about 2 to 6 players. It is not it's a 2-player game. It's a 2-player head-to-head game. So I'm pretty excited that Dice Throne Adventures is going to be cooperative now, correct? And we can maybe finally face the baddie that the story introduces you to.
And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong here, when the character you play dies, they then work for the enemy and fight against you.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I mean, Dice Throne is another one that we've played 30 times.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
It's a great game to play outside.
Yes.
Because the sleeves we have generally stick very well to the high-quality boards they give you for your character, that they don't blow away in the wind.
Yeah, agreed. Although I did have a rogue dice fall into the garden this summer.
Oh, we found it, though.
Excellent quality dice. Excellent quality artwork. Excellent quality... Everything.
Even the game trays that come with the battle chests now. Fantastic.
My only gripe about Season 2 is what they had done with Season 1, and they did not do with Season 2, was the deck of cards. The backs of Season 1, the original Season 1, had the character on the back, and then on Season 2 they do not. Just for consistency's sake.
There is more artwork in the Season 2 deck, though, when you look at the deck.
Yeah.
We could have also backed the character sleeves.
We maybe on Season 4 we will do that. Yeah, I looked at Matt and I said, do we want to reorder Season 1 so it's in the battle chest and it's in the game trays? We did legit think about that.
Yeah. But no, I'm fine with... It takes up so little space, and then the battle chest is going to come along and take up more space.
Yeah, more Kickstarter space.
It's a thing.
Okay. So these are our D games. They're only 25, so we're done, folks.
Yeah.
Whew.
All right. Next time, I'm not going to say next week. Next time, we're going to be doing our E's. We only have 11 of those, so that'll be a nice video. She's rejoicing because she's the one who edits these.
Yes. So join us next time. What is your favorite game that starts with D? What did we miss? What do we love that you hate? What do we hate that you love? And we'll catch you next time. There is still a giveaway going for when we hit 500 subscribers for one of Matt's books, a copy of the first of Matt's books. And your alarm is going off. Okay, well that's it, folks. All right, we'll catch you next time.
Why is it going off?
I don't know. I'm Jen, the board game librarian, with my dashing partner in crime, Matt, the dice chucker, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.